Okay, so I'm gonna make this giraffe. I have some wire that's already been used, and I've already done the first step, which is just fold this in half, trying to make sure that it's pretty even. Now I'm gonna pinch this as tightly as I can together and then twist. This is gonna be the head and the neck. So the head will be this little portion here. And if I can get it to cooperate, it's easier because I'm right-handed, it's easier for me to twist with my left hand and hold this steady. So I'm going to go all the way down the giraffe's neck and into the body. I'm going to stop here at these shoulders. And check against my drawing. So the head will be here, the neck, and if my artwork becomes a little bit bigger than my drawing, that's okay too. So I'm going to come down to the shoulder. And those legs are super long. So I'm going to hold up against it. Now I already know. So I'm going to make the foot about right here. And pinch and fold this up. And I want to make sure that these match. So that will be my head, neck, leg number 1, and leg number 2. So I'm pinching and folding these where they are almost exactly the same length. And something that you can do if you don't have pliers, which you don't, we're just going to grab some regular scissors, and we're not going to cut anything. We're just using the scissors to pinch that closed, okay? So I'm applying just enough pressure to pinch these against each other, and I do have to kind of rotate that a little bit. And you can see it definitely left a mark in the metal, but it'll be okay. Alright, so now we're going to twist the wire together so that our legs are nice and stable and sturdy and actually hold up the body. Giraffe legs are surprisingly skinny for holding up something so big. Now if we need to add wire, we can definitely do that around the torso and then create our other legs. I can already tell that this is not going to be enough wire for another set of legs, but that's okay. So I'm coming all the way up. Okay, so this will become the rest of my spine. So remember, these are my front legs, not the back. And we're going to twist here too, around this leg, all the way up until we get to the spine. Almost there. Oh, trying to get away from me. Okay, so now we have these legs, the neck, and then this is going to become the body. We're not going to go very far because in reality this part of their torso is just a very short little barrel. So actually this is almost perfect for those back legs. The only problem is they won't be as stable because they don't have that twist. This definitely adds some stability for how they stand. Now, this part does go down, and the back legs actually need to be a little bit longer because they need to have this curve within them. So this is actually their ankle, and then this is part of the foot. So if I was to do this correctly, and I can also use these scissors for a sharper, oh, gotta rotate it. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, I know I've done this before, but okay, so I'm gonna bring that leg down and see how these are now almost lined up together. So I can kind of pinch and curl this to create a foot. The only problem is this little bit sticks out. Okay, so now I want to make a matching leg on the back. So this part is going to curve here and here, and then straight down. Make sure these match. Pinch the wire and twist. Okay, the only thing I'm missing is his tail. Now he does stand up pretty perfectly, so check that out. He's almost the same size as the drawing. Up next, we're going to add foil to our little armature so that we can have a better maquette. Okay, I went and grabbed some foil, so I've got several pieces, but we're going to start with areas that are really large. These areas that are a little skinnier we'll get to last. So first thing I probably want to start is either the head or the barrel of the body. The secret with making your maquette with the foil is making sure that it's overlapping both sides of your wire, and the bulk of your foil is going in the areas that you want to be bulky. So for instance, I'm just going to wrap a little bit over the top. That's where it's going to be the skinniest, and I want the majority of the foil at the bottom because that's the torso. So I crumpled it and I'm going to push it into the body. I also want to make sure that I get that consistent round torso. So it's wrapping all the way around, and then I'm going to scrunch the majority of it here at the bottom of the torso. Make sure that my legs are actually separated. Now I did not remember to add a tail before I got too far, so I might have to get a little creative with that. Okay, so now I have this shape almost. It's not wider in the front where we have the muscle of the legs. So we're going to add a little bit more. I don't know if you remember how big that foil was that I put here, but it's about this big. You're not working in small pieces. To me, this is a pretty normal size. This might even be a little bit too big. So once again, I want to make sure that it's fully attached, and I'm really pushing it into this other piece of foil. The majority of it is getting pushed up here into the chest. You really have to apply pressure to make sure that this is on securely and that you're still holding that nice round shape. Okay, so up next we'll get head. This one doesn't need quite as much foil because the head's actually not that big. So I'm going to crumple around both areas, and again making sure we're looking at this from all sides. It's a three-dimensional form. So I'm going to curve up around the nose, push that in, and then the majority that's left over is the head. So the head is nice and round where it should be. I don't want to add any more around the nose. That part is done. Check it out from up above. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so it does need just a little bit more. around the top of the head. So I'm going to scrunch up some more foil around here and start working on the neck. Now my neck is a little bit crooked, so I'll fix that while we're at it. Now here we're getting teeny tiny pieces because the neck is pretty small. We are going to be adding some other stuff on top of our sculpture. We're going to add a small layer of plaster, just one layer. So we don't want our sculptures to get too big and bulky. Okay, now maybe I can add a little bit more muscle around the base of the neck as it moves into the chest and shoulders. We want that smooth transition. And then from here, we might add a little bit around the top of our legs so that we get that nice bulky muscle. And you might ask, Ms. Ruckle, how do you even know how much foil to add? This is something that you kind of learn experience. You're always welcome to tear the foil off and start over if you feel like you really messed it up. That's how we learn. It's just through experience. You're never going to get anything perfect the first time, and if you do, you're probably not learning very much. You just got a little bit lucky. We have to learn through our mistakes, and we have to learn through practice. Practice makes progress. And progress is how we learn. Okay, so again, because we're adding the plaster on top, I'm not going to do the bottom of the legs or the feet. I'm just going to get these areas where we have more muscle.